Make sure.
And then your timer's okay.
Okay, good. All right, so I'm gonna give you a really fast rundown on a project that's been going on really at some level for the last 3 or 4 years, but we're really in full swing at this moment. Basically replacing the age-old 30-year-old low res at the CAS focus of Keck 1 with a state-of-the-art instrument. And the whole idea behind it is that we want it to do almost essentially everything that the current LRIS does, at least the modes that people use, but to do it better. So that includes higher throughput, better image quality, better stability, reliability, and actually attention to operational efficiency. You know, we've had 30 years of experience now how to make something efficient. We knew nothing about that back in the late 1980s, early 1990s when the thing was designed, and everyone was sort of flying blind, and that's no longer the case. And we're adding features that make LRIS 2 more powerful. Incidentally, that's a placeholder name. Obviously, it's awaiting naming privileges by one of the people who are responsible for funding things. Let's see. So the bottom line is we want to maintain the most sensitive optical faint object spectroscopic capabilities on any ground-based telescope, taking advantage of everything that we had in terms of advantage of the site, that is work on down all the way down to the atmospheric cutoff at 3100 and the near infrared. And so it goes out a bit beyond a micron. And the whole thing has been designed anticipating a future ground layer adaptive optics system, which would sharpen the images typically by a factor of 1.5 to 2 over the wavelength range covered. And so that means the whole spectrograph had to be designed with 0.3 arc-second apertures in mind. This is a picture of what the field of view of low-res 2 is, and you'll notice that one of its big advantages is that it brings the field centered on the optical axis of the telescope. Believe it or not, LRIS is currently hanging out there on the very edge, which is why the images can only get so good that position in the field. The new one is on axis, and it has 2 patrolling guide cameras. It has, like low res, it has 2 wavelength channels optimized for the blue and the red, split at 560 nanometers. So there's a 10 arc minute slit length compared to current low res, a bit under 8 arc minutes. And like low res, it does direct imaging in 2 simultaneous channels, including optional narrowband filters. It has flexure compensation so that it's not just staying steady during an observation, but it will dial in the same exact place if you ask for the same configuration to within less than a pixel over days or weeks. So this is meant to make calibrations much more straightforward. 2 guiders that can operate simultaneously to make sure that you don't have rotator positional problems keeping things in narrow slits over the whole length of the field. And this is a really important one to me. I hope to many of you. Closed loop control, telescope focus. You never waste time at night focusing the telescope using crude tools like Mira or autofocus. All right, so what spectroscopy, it basically does resolution 1000 to about 8000, depending on your choice of dispersers. But the important thing is that you get full wavelength coverage for resolving power between 1250 and 2100, all the way 310 to 1000 nanometers, and about twice that with the higher dispersion gratings that are supplied with a 50% bandwidth coverage on each. So the current concept has a deployable IFU, which basically comes in on a stage and just replaces the focal plane aperture with relay optics that image that produce an image at the same focal point, but it's a slicer with a field of view of about 8 arc seconds by 25 arc seconds, which will get full band coverage with resolution of around 3,000 over the whole range. Higher resolution, obviously, with the higher dispersion gratings, and again, half the bandwidth coverage per channel. The throughput is higher than the current LRIS by between 30 and 100%. LRIS is already very high throughput. This will improve on that. These are curves of the current low-res blue and red channel, and these are the predicted end-to-end throughput, including the telescope, that will be achieved. These are all custom gratings that have been prototyped as a matter of course during this conceptual design phase. Now in preliminary design phase, which means that we have real looking stuff, real designs of the whole mechanical system, including the focal plane here. And you'll notice that we don't have a slit mask mechanism planned, and that's because we're designing a configurable slit unit that will electronically configure any arrangement in the focal plane that you want. It's similar to what's currently in Mousefire, but it will be much faster and much more flexible. And we have all sorts of ideas about how it might be used, which will be new ways to make acquisition much more efficient and to take advantage of the ability to close down alignment boxes before you start your science exposures that cut down on scattered light. Here's the instrument in a new Cassegrain module, which will be built. Here are some of the things that are being prototyped downstairs, actually: a flexure compensation system, a camera lens cell prototype, and we've been working on this CSU design first for the TNTW FOSS, but this is perfectly parallel to that development, and we have now assembling a 12-bar full system. We've already tested precision and lifetime testing of this arrangement, but we're now building a small replica of what will actually be there at the end. Timeline is that we're past the conceptual design in September of last year, after about 2.5 years of sort of feasibility of thinking about how to do this. We're currently in the preliminary design phase, and we're expecting to have a review of the preliminary design in February of next year. And with luck, all things going well, we should be finished and ready to deliver by the end of 2027 or so. Thank you.